Hi, everybody. Michael Tucker here again. Today, once again, trying an experiment with video. I'm not quite sure why I'm trying video at the moment, but it seems interesting and different. I thought I'd talk today a little bit about foreign affairs. Why not? It's a subject of which I know absolutely nothing, or at least nearly nothing. And in today's cable news, that probably makes me a positive pundit. Anyway, today I'd like to talk about the yesterday's election in Brazil. I'm doing this on October 27th. In yesterday's election, let's see if I can find it. Ah, yes. This is my local paper, and as near as I can tell, there's absolutely not a word about yesterday's election in Brazil throughout the entire paper. That's not surprising and doesn't even say anything bad about the Journal, which is my local paper. It isn't, after all, yesterday's election isn't exactly front page news in the United States. And the morning papers published the day before, so I'm sure that they didn't even have the results when they were doing the election. Maybe there'll be something in tomorrow's paper, in tomorrow's edition. But I think we ought to be paying really close attention to this election in Brazil. And the reason why is that it was a contest between, well, the individual who won was the incumbent president. I'm going to butcher her name, my apologies. I think it's Dilma Rousseff. She was the president, and she is the president again. It's a very close contest, as I understand it, but she won. Why should we be paying attention to this contest? Well, it has to do with the Brics. That's an acronym. It stands for Brazil, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're rising economies. And they're also nations which have attempted to band together in recent months, last year or so, to try to establish separate economic, social, perhaps even military institutions that would stand opposite and opposed to, independent of, the world system that was largely established, the West considers its own. In some ways, it's the world system which was created at the end of the 7 Years' War when Britain defeated the French. And it's a surprising, that was in 1759, by the way, and it's been a surprisingly successful system. Either the British by themselves or in partnership with the United States, now primarily the United States and large banks in places like in Western Europe, have successfully run the world in some fashion. The BRIC countries, are trying to establish a way out of that, to have their own equivalent of the World Bank, their own equivalent of the International Monetary Fund, perhaps their own internet even. They've talked about that. Will they succeed? I don't know. They have had a lot of problems. First of all, they themselves, the BRICS, don't get along real well with one another. India and China, Russia and China have fought wars. The other thing is they're all tightly integrated into the Western world system. I mean, China came to prominence as the most recently as the workshop of the West. India is I've heard it referred to as the help desk and the back office IT systems of the world. Russia, South Africa, Brazil, they make a lot of their money supplying raw materials to the rest of the world, including the West. Still, it's interesting that they're trying to break this world system. And remember how formidable the world system has been. The French tried to do it under Napoleon and failed. Germans tried 2 world wars and failed. The Russians tried it with revolutionary government under the Soviet Union for 50 years and failed. But now the BRICS are trying again. And who knows, this time they might pull it off, particularly given the fact that the American elites have so happily managed to squander. They've allowed all of the American industry to go overseas, or a great deal of it. That was a very stupid thing in retrospect. Uh, but if the Brics do pull it off, it's going to mean that the world is a very, very different place. I mean, even if they only manage a partial victory, it's going to mean a different world. Maybe a far less comfortable one for the United States, for those of us here in the U.S. And I'm not sure, to be truthful with you, it'll be even much better for the folks in the Brics nations. A word of advice, folks, it's in the Brics countries. It's all very well and good to be the top dog, but sometimes it's not quite what it's cracked up to be, particularly when it makes you a target. But anyway, that's the point. This could be something important. And Rousseff, who supported Brics, won yesterday's election in Brazil. Her opponent supported closer ties to the traditional West. So the point being that even though this election probably didn't rate a mention in my local newspaper, and I suspect will not be in your local newspaper either, even though it doesn't seem all that important, I think we should be paying attention to it. You see, for well over 250 years now, we, I mean those of us living in the English-speaking West, have coasted along surprisingly comfortably on that triumph of 1759. But no triumph lasts forever. It's just something to think about. On that note, onward and upward, and talk to you next time.